The other thing, when I first discovered this, and it was discovered, I found out about it, I guess late March, the Public Health Committee meetings prior to the last two we had. And I was very concerned by that because we had a fiscal session since these policies have been approved and offered, and I wasn't aware of it. And I specifically remember asking last fall in room 171 when we had a public health committee meeting whether vision and dental benefits would be offered. And I was told no. And so for this to come back, and I learned about this after our fiscal session, that's disturbing to me. And I didn't feel like the legislative committee that I was on and that myself, I didn't have full disclosure. And I don't know that I could have supported the private option being offered as it was and being reauthorized as it was in the fiscal session. I feel like there has been a breach of trust by some agencies, either the insurance department, Department of Human Services, with the legislative body. Then lately, this last couple of weeks, I learned that some of my colleagues, in fact, did know about these policies. And so it leads me to wonder, well, how come some people were told and others were not? And never was it mentioned in the Public Health Committee before just a month or so ago. Can anybody explain that?
All I can say is all of those filings are totally public once they're approved, and there's not any, there's no barrier for anybody looking at those. And I think probably that anybody did whatever promotion they did. I'm sure they told people who were trying to make a choice if they had any difference in their policy than their competition. So we didn't have any intention of misleading the legislature in any way whatsoever. That's not what we did.
Well, when I asked Mr. Sealy about it, when I learned about it late March, I said, well, how come the legislature didn't know? When did you all discover this? And how did this happen that we didn't know? And he said it was buried.
What?
It was buried in paperwork. So, yeah. So I guess he got it after you all approved it, the insurance department approved it.
We absolutely approved the filings, and as did the feds approved it too. So, but there wasn't any there was no effort to bury it or hide it or anything whatsoever. And I'm sorry that it didn't get more publicity. It doesn't make.
So when the feds got it, did you all give a description or some kind of brief descriptive overview of what these policies consisted of, where they would be offered in the state, and the variance between the different areas of the state?
Let the lawyer answer that.
Okay.
So the rates that included a very brief description in the title was published in the paper whenever the plans were certified at the end of September prior to open enrollment. The breakdown of all of the benefits offered within the policies was created and given to PHS to be put on the HP portal. That was done at the end of September, beginning of October. It was placed on that portal so that for those people who were shopping, they would be able to see every benefit that was offered within those policies.
So is there any reason why the insurance department never just said that there was this policy being offered with these additional benefits in just a certain part of the state before, just a month or so ago, and then to say it was a mistake or however you wanted to describe it, to say that it won't be this way next year? If it's so good, what is the problem that going forward it won't be offered?
One thing, I know that you know this, but just to be clear, there's no private option plan. And it was the same silver plan that people with no subsidies, people with tax subsidies, or private option consumers could choose among. So it wasn't just a private option plan. And that company did have EHV only, and they had this, and the other companies also had EHVs plus, they just had different plus benefits. And so the consumer could choose, but by the time, like Zane said, private option was completed in late April, the plan was submitted by the end of June. They were reviewed and sent to the feds and approved like a week before that waiver was obtained by Arkansas, and the submission of the waiver was way before that. So it was a timing time. I think that in an effort to even the playing field for private option purchasing, going forward, we all agreed to have an EHB plan only and by every company. And that would be the plan that private option chose to purchase.
That would be the only plan available for enrolling through the private option.
That's my understanding, that we'll have DHS answer that since they were the private option folks.
Well, what's the problem with that plan that exists now with the benefits of vision and dental being continued and offered by all of these companies? What's the problem with that?
They could continue to offer it, and they may do that, but I believe that Arkansas Medicaid will not purchase it for private option. Others could purchase it for tax credits. Tax credits would only pay toward EHB. If the consumer wanted to pay more, it would be an option.
So what you're saying now, then, I'm hearing Arkansas Medicaid has to purchase this plan. They have to purchase the Ambetter with the dental and the vision. Did they?
We better have Medicaid answer that question.
Mr. Flowers, why don't we go on? I have 3 people that may ask a question, all right, and then we'll come back. Mr. Steelers, you might be asked that question when you get up here. So